So what's up with this weird sideways bull market? Is it manipulation? Is it something else? Let's discuss this first chart. And Bitcoin closed September at 63,000, and it's the 8th month in a row that it's in a 60k to 70k trading range. It's really weird, and it never happened before. Normally, the bull markets, yes, it is still in a bull market because it's red dot, bull market. And normally a bull market means price go up. Historically, when it's red, when it's bull market, prices went up in 2011, 2013, 2017, and 2020, 2021. But not now. Now it's sideways. And I do not believe in manipulation. Yes, it can be manipulation, but not for 8 months. That's something different at work, I think.
Bitcoin has entered uncharted territory, staying within the $60,000 to $70,000 range for the last 8 months, something it has never done before, particularly during a bull market. This stagnation has raised questions about whether Bitcoin's price is being manipulated. However, crypto analyst Plan B suggests otherwise. He highlights two main reasons for this trend. First, Bitcoin's rapid surge earlier in 2024, where it jumped from $20,000 to $73,000 before the halving, has already absorbed much of the market momentum. Second, the looming US election has created an air of uncertainty. Markets generally dislike uncertainty, and this is no exception. Plan B explains that he personally knows of many large investors, including influential Bitcoin whales, who are sitting on the sidelines, waiting for the election outcome before making any big moves. This political uncertainty has kept Bitcoin's price in a holding pattern. Make sure to watch to the end of this video where Plan B breaks down his price's predictions and outlook for 2025. Also, if you enjoy listening to crypto-related content, please show your support by liking and subscribing to this channel by following the link in my bio. And get access to my free daily crypto updates and expert predictions direct to your inbox. Each newsletter contains market intelligence, on-chain data and latest updates from experts in the crypto space. All of this is available completely free of charge. Signing up only takes a moment and you can always change your mind later on. Now back over to Plan B.
Yes, it can be manipulation, but not for 8 months. That's something different at work, I think. So another explanation could be that we had a too early pre-halving pump because of the ETFs. And the halving was somewhere here around April. And we even had a new all-time high before the halving, which had never happened before. But basically we pumped from the bottom around 20k to 40k, 60k, 73k, and that is something that's unusual because normally the accumulation phases are quite stable or rising, but not that fast. So yeah, that could be it. A pre-halving, too early pump. But surely, and surely, it would have felt different if we had an increase that would go gradually from this 20k to 63k instead of this jump here, this ETF jump, and then flat for 8 months, which feels weird, but the same result with a gradual increase would have felt a lot different, although the end outcome would be exactly the same. So what can we see in the moving average chart? The moving average chart is, it shows the same thing. It has this 8 month of flat period here. Note, by the way, that the color is different in the moving average chart. It's months until the next halving, not the phase we're in, not the bull bear market. It's just a timer. And the halving is at month 0. So when blue switches to red. So this is a halving in 2016. This is one in 2020. And this is the latest in 2024. And well, as we can see, there was a flat period in 2015 as well. Quite long, more than half a year. I think it's also 8 months here. But that was a bear market, of course, at around 250k. More comparable, I think, is this flat period here in 2019, 2020. That's around 10,000, little under $10,000, and also a period with a halving in there. So that's very comparable, I think, to where we are right now, because we back then we also had this pre-halving too early pump, and then COVID that really spoiled the party. But that was basically a 1 month event in the end, because the money printer went on, the QE was started, and then that was the trigger for the entire bull market. Of course, Michael Saylor started buying Bitcoin here. Later, Elon Musk went positive on Bitcoin, but that was sort of the trigger. And it's a bit of the same period, same pre-halving pump situation above the moving average. So this black line, of course, is the moving average, and we use it to smooth out the noise. So right now it's 40K, and Bitcoin for the entire 8 months flat period is above that 200-week moving average. Same here in 2019, 2020. So yeah, moving average is increasing, just like back then. It's still increasing. So as long as it's increasing, it's okay, in my opinion. And Bitcoin will find its trigger for the next pump. And I have heard that many large buyers are just waiting for the US elections in November. And that makes sense, because why run the risk if you can wait a couple of weeks and have total clarity and certainty? And the risk obviously being a Democratic Biden-Harris win, which is bad for Bitcoin. So whales waiting for the US elections could very well be the reason for this 8-month sideways price movement. Just one explanation. So we look at RSI, the relative strength index. This chart looks a little bit different because I added this moving average, 12-month moving average in there. And the background has this black line in the middle at 65, which is about the average RSI through the history of Bitcoin. And the bear and bull markets dance around this black line. So right now, RSI is 63, so very close to this average of 65, this black line. And what we see is that this moving average, again, smooths out all the noise. And for example, here, it was a very clean period where the actual RSI numbers followed the moving average, tracked the moving average, I should say, quite well. But here in 2013, this bull market was quite noisy, and the moving average tracks right through it. But there's months way above this moving average and months way below. And the same is true, for example, for 2019 and 2020. And we talked about this period before at the moving average sheet. And we see it's very noisy there. We had this pre-halving pump too early, then a correction, and then of course COVID as a kind of, well, black swan, which really put a dent even in the moving average. But the moving average kept rising and rising, and then here in the bull market, it's all on track again. And actually, you see the same thing right now. Back then, it felt like front running in 2019, front running the halving. There was all talk about the halving and stock to flow, of course, which was published here. There was talk about front running. We have that same talk about front running right now with the ETFs, where retail had the opportunity to front run Wall Street for the first time. So we had this too early, before the halving pump. And then, of course, there was this dump after the halving because of government selling, Mt. Gox selling. But all in all, moving average was pretty stable and rising. So in my opinion, the flat bull market that we see in the price can be just optics. A rising trend disguised by noise and mixed signal. Because if this were a gradual growth from all the way from 15 to the current 63,000 Bitcoin price, then the RSI would be not this noisy, and we would be not that confused about this sideways Bitcoin price. Next chart. And now it becomes really interesting. This is the Bitcoin realized price. So that's like the average cost price of Bitcoin. And there's 3 realized prices in this chart. The realized price, that looks at the whole history, price history, is 32,000 at the moment and rising. The 2-year realized price, that only looks at the last 2 years and the Bitcoins that were bought in those 2 years, the cost price of those Bitcoins, is at 51,000 at the end of September and rising. And the very short-term 5-month realized price, the light blue line, is at 63 and rising. Well, it's sort of flat, but last month it did rise a little bit. So I tweeted about this earlier, and I said, maybe you remember it, Bitcoin is the next stable coin, is now a stable coin because of this 8-month flat period. And I also tweeted 60,000 is the new 10,000. Why did I tweet that? Because this 2019-2020 period that we talked about before in the moving average chart and the RSI chart, it felt exactly the same like right now. It felt like boring, flat line, there will never be a bull market again, stock to flow failed, Bitcoin is dead, whatever. Actually, if you go further back, we had that same boring periods in 2014 to 2016 at a much lower level, of course. It was about 400, 500 at the time. And even before that, in 2012, there was a period where Bitcoin, and also in the bear market, of course, but where that flat period was making people think like there would never be a bull market again.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe for news and expert predictions direct to your inbox.